The world is filled with beautiful things. I think we can all agree on that. Beautiful islands and peaceful villages, but these marvels can soon turn into horror shows when you leave them be for too long. Quiet peace turns into an eerie silence real quick. Number 10. Island of Dolls in Mexico. Fancy taking a trip to Mexico? If you dare step foot in this island, you'll find horrific, half-decomposed dolls hanging from trees and staring at you. In the 1950s, a Mexican man named Don Julian Santana Barrera moved to an island in Xochimilco. One day, he discovered the body of a young girl who had drowned in the nearby waters. Soon after, a doll washed up on the shore. Out of respect for the girl, he hung it from a tree. But soon, Don began to feel the presence of a spirit. To satisfy it, he hung more and more dolls from the trees. And as you can see, these offerings turned into an obsession. He kept this going for 50 years until he died in 2001. Since then, visitors claim to see the heads of the dolls turn to follow them as they explore the islands, while some hear whispers and wails of spirits. Are you interested in the strange and the unknown? Subscribe to Fact Monkey and ring the bell for more mind-blowing content. Number 9. Cradles in Chernobyl. The Chernobyl nuclear accident of 1986 was one of the most devastating nuclear power incidents in history. It didn't just affect workers at the plant, but also tens of thousands of civilians living nearby in Pripyat. The city had to be evacuated, and it was abandoned ever since. Some urban explorers still frequent the site, and one of them captured this image in a hospital in Pripyat. There's just something so sad and also creepy about an empty cradle. You can't help but think about the children in those beds and wonder if they made it out of there in time. Number 8. Catacombs of Paris, France. This maze lies 20 meters below the surface and houses a bone-chilling but impressive display, the remains of several million Parisians. Their bones were moved here from overcrowded cemeteries in the 18th century, and now you can venture down 130 steps to the chilly tunnels and crypts lined with human bones to explore a small portion of a 200-mile haunted passageway beneath the busy city's streets. Number 7. Pizziglia Island, Italy. Off the coast of Venice is an island of ghosts. Once upon a time, people who showed even the slightest symptoms of the Black Death were dragged here, kicking and screaming. The 7-hectare plot doubled as a mass burial ground for about 160,000 people who were burnt alive to stop the spread of the disease. Even today, it seems over 50% of the island's soil is made up of human ash. Number 6. Village of Nagoro, Japan. Nagoro is a slowly sinking village located in Japan. Its residents? Creepy dolls. Over a decade ago, all the residents abandoned this village, either because they died or due to some disaster. When one of the residents, Tsukimi Ayano, returned home, she cured her loneliness by populating the city with 350 life-size dolls. You can see dolls sitting in classrooms, some working in the garden or sitting outside their homes, even some that were meant to look like her actual family members. Yikes. Number 5. The Capuchin Catacombs. When the Capuchin monastery outgrew its original cemetery in the 16th century, the monks began to excavate crypts below it for extra room. Many mummies in these rooms have lost the lower parts of their noses. Some have had their mouths and necks twisted grotesquely, and their hollow eyes have been positioned to gaze in ways that are meant to creep you out. What's more, in the 1920s, a little girl was placed in the catacombs, and several visitors have reported that she could be seen blinking. It's open to tourists, but maybe stay away from the little girl's cradle. Number 4. Temple of the Dead in Peru. Anyone up for a game of Temple Run? Archaeologists working below the Chavin de Huanta Temple in Peru made an incredible discovery in 2018 when they found an elaborate maze under the 3,000-year-old temple. They found 3 skeletons, a small boy, a teen, and a young man. It seems priests often carried out rituals with drugs, noise, and light manipulations that worshippers couldn't explain, and made them believe the leaders of Chavin had higher powers. These bodies were most likely sacrifices, because one of the skeletons was found face down, perhaps because they were unwilling victims. Number 3. Nicosia International Airport in Cyprus. When Turkish forces invaded the country to fight off a Greek coup in 1974, they bombed the Nicosia International Airport, leaving it a shell. This ghost complex was once a military base in the Second World War before it opened up to civilians. You can still see tattered travel posters hanging on the walls and the abandoned boarding gates with the seats falling apart. Number 2. Hanging Coffins of Sagada. It's not exactly the gateway to heaven you'd expect. Cemeteries are creepy to begin with, but when the coffins hang above your head in an eerily silent forest, somehow it's much worse. Animist tribal folk in this part of the Philippines believe that putting their dead in steep crevices put their loved ones nearer to the gods. The coffins have bodies with their knees forced to their chins. Elders believe that placing the body in a fetal position symbolizes the start of a new life. It's the first step in the dead's journey towards the next life. Number 1. Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, Canada. The quarantine has gotten everyone down a bit, but now since things are opening up, you can take a nice vacation in Canada. And why not splurge a little and stay at a Fairmont? Built in 1888, the chateau-style Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel sits by the Rocky Mountains and gives off quite a gothic vibe. But it gets a little darker once you get inside. Visitors have reported several ghosts, including a bride who supposedly fell down the stone staircase during her wedding. But if you're lucky, Sam the bellman, who worked here until 1975, will help you with your bags, before disappearing into thin air, of course. Feel like an adventure? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave us a like and check out more videos like this on our channel. Thanks for watching.
The strange and the unknown, like you never ever seen before. Fact Monkey, subscribe right now.